So this is wrist part 2. Now this will not be easy to do, and you're going to have to do it quite gently, and you might have to talk to me if you need a bit of help with it. So we did these couple of exercises again in the Edu Portal movement workshop in terms of wrists getting nice and strong for handstands. So I know a lot of you won't even think about or worry about doing handstands, which is fine. But nonetheless, we're still trying to get your wrists nice and strong from a flexion and extension point of view. So I'm getting the jib to zoom right in here. There's some complexity with this one, and you'll have to really, really try and focus on, again, how you do it. My hands are here. These fingers are shooting forward like that. So they taught us to have our fingers shooting forward like that to mimic handstand position. I know you're not worried about that necessarily, but we'll follow suit on that nonetheless. With the wrist flexion pull-up, you're trying to press these two knuckles into the ground. Okay, this thumb will be slightly elevated if possible, and you're pushing into the ground, holding for a bit, and then coming back down. All right, so that's what it looks like. For those people that are super, super, super duper strong and practice this a lot, they can actually do it on their toes. Now, I can't do that. I've been very, very close to doing it. Some other key points when you're doing this drill. We're trying to lock our elbows out, so we're not borrowing from the rest of the body. All right, so I'll do my best to see how my elbow or the inside of my elbow is shooting forward. That's what you're trying to do. So from here, I'm pressing in, holding for a bit, and then coming down. You might need to bring your knees forward a bit. Okay, as you get stronger, you get your knees back. The other thing to avoid is not pulling up too much with your body. Some people will not feel this because they're quite merely just yanking back with their hips, and that's not what we want. I'll reiterate again. Elbows locked out, inside of elbow facing forward, pressing these two knuckles into the mat, thumbs elevated, and you're pressing in and lifting using your wrists. So that's the wrist flexion push-up. The next push-up is called a fin push-up. Now this is the one that I got rather strong at. Hands like so. So you might need to go over the other drill that I showed you in terms of stretching out first before you do anything like that, or this I should say. Your hands are going to come out in front. From here, you're going to come down and press into the ground using your wrist. So this is an extremity in terms of going into flexion with the wrist. But we're trying to make you strong in that position. So in particular, if you are hitting the pads, that if you do go into this angle, that it's not going to hurt you. Okay? As you get stronger, that's one of those things that you can bring your knees back and put more weight into it. But again, you've got to be careful. If this is causing you great pain, you don't do it. You just go back to what we were talking about, just working on this. Okay, putting some weight on there. As I said, as you get really strong, and it's not to say that you need to do something like this, but this is what I practice to do my handstands, because we're putting a lot of weight onto our hands in order to keep our legs up in the air. So the last thing that I'll do is I'll show you this one. So this is like a puncher's fist. And obviously we've got our wrists reasonably straight here. Okay, we're working these angles. So if your wrists did turn to the side a little bit while striking, okay, at least if you practice this under a little bit of load, or the pressure that you can handle, it's not foreign territory for your body. Once again, if you get stronger, you put more weight into it. All right? In general, you want stronger wrists, just spending some time, different angles on your hands, working different pressure, okay, the pressure that you can handle is going to help you out immensely. But like all things, you just got to practice.